Hey, my name's Alan. Not too long ago, I watched this movie named Glory Road from Disney. It was probably, I think it's from the early 2000s, and it takes place like in the 1960s in Texas. And it's about this basketball team who, the boys are living there at this university, at this college, and they're learning how to play basketball and everything. And because Texas is close to the border, many of the people who there are Mexican, and a lot of the basketball players are most of them are African American. And in this movie, there's a very funny scene. It's very short, it's those witty like comments. One of the African American teens comes up to the cafeteria line, and the cafeteria worker is Mexican. And because they're close to Mexico in Texas, a lot of the food that they serve is Mexican. And so he comes up to him and he says,
Coach said things around here were gonna be different.
Taco, nacho, burrito. Now I'm looking for hot doggo.
Doesn't look like he was kidding.
I thought the scene was hilarious. It was just funny. It's short, but I found it really funny. But like soon after this, I just began to think, and it's kind of funny that he says tacos, nachos, burritos, and then the other guy responds, no, like I want a hot dog, And I think this is something very important because I'm Mexican, and when people typically think of Mexican food and stereotypical Mexican food, everybody thinks of tacos. Nachos, burritos, enchiladas, all of that kind of stuff. It's something very typical and things that you see all of the time. Like if you think of Mexico and you think of like a holiday, everybody thinks of Cinco de Mayo, and everybody just goes out and drinks, and eats a lot of tacos. But there's a lot more to Mexican culture and Mexican food. And I thought this specific thing was funny because in Mexico, there is a lot of hot dog stands. When people think of Mexican food, they think of tacos. But when I think about going to Mexico, I think about the hot dog stands that there is like every other block. In Mexico, there is a lot of food stands out, in public, not like there is here in the US. And a lot of them happen to be hot dog stands. And the hot dogs are completely different from United States hot dogs. And if you ever ask somebody about a hot dog from Mexico, this is what they'll think. So I wanted to present you a couple of clips so that you can see the difference, and so that you can also see that there's a lot more to Mexican culture and Mexican food other than tacos, nachos, burritos, and everything that you eat at a Mexican restaurant here. So here's a couple of clips that I wanted to show you from a few videos that I found on YouTube of hot dog stands, and so you could, see the difference. Here we see that this man has bacon wrapped hot dogs, he has chiles, and he has caramelized onions. And this is something very typical when you see this. And as you see coming up here, he's also cutting up queso fresco, which is a type of Mexican cheese. And I think this is very important, and it shows such a great difference. And they even add chiles, they add spices, and a lot of great things, and this is something very common. When we think of American hot dogs, I usually just think of boiled hot dogs or rotisserie hot dogs that just have mustard and ketchup. And here we see him adding tomatoes and onions, sour cream, mustard, and a lot more than you see in a typical American hot dog. My third and final example is one that I found of a how-to cooking video on YouTube. And as you can see, it's all the same. We have the hot dog, we have the bacon wrap, we have chiles, and they're adding here bell peppers and such, and they have the onions. Bell peppers is something that I didn't see in the other videos, but it seems like it goes, like maybe with something that goes with some fajitas. But it's all in the same. We all know that hot dogs originated in the United States. This is something that Mexican culture has adopted as their own, and I believe it's something that we can consider Mexican when we see them in the way that they're preparing these hot dogs. And I just think it's a great example, and it goes to show how much more there is to cultures, that it's not just the typical, like for example, food that you see, food at festivals, everybody thinks of tacos and carne asada,
Carne what? Asada.
Asada.
But there's a lot more to it. Maybe after watching this, you're gonna wanna go out and get a Mexican hot dog instead of, an American hot dog. And I think that's very good. If you do that, then I feel accomplished, and I feel like I got my point across. And so thank you very much for listening, and thank you.